Coach Chad Nass.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to South Kitsap High School. If you're watching on Wave Cable Channel 205, we're glad that you decided to join us. And if you're watching from home on your laptop, streaming through the internet, we're also glad you're here. Welcome to South Kitsap High School. Tonight, rivalry and intense competition with another for a shared objective or superiority in the field. That's exactly what we have as the South Kitsap Wrestling Wolves take on the Yelm Tornadoes for the 2013-2014 4A Narrows League Championship. I am Ben Blankenship. Joining me in the booth tonight is senior wrestler Elijah Kaneni. Elijah, we're glad to have you.
Very glad to be here.
It's going to be a fun night of wrestling.
Yeah, it is.
Both of these two teams, Yelm, a new addition to the Narrows League. The biggest story is Yelm's victory last year to snap the SK wrestling streak that lasted almost 20 years. Yelm, no joke, and it's kind of fitting that these two teams meet in the last dual meet of the season tonight. We're going to throw it down to the floor for the announcement of tonight's matchup, and let's take a listen.
20 pounds for Yelm, Junior Darren Harris. Wrestling for South Kitsap, sophomore Angelo Trujillo. At 126 pounds, wrestling for Yelm, Junior Dakota Benson. And wrestling for South Kitsap, sophomore Brandon Forster. At 132 pounds, for Yelm, sophomore Brian Rochester. Wrestling for South Kitsap, Junior Tommy Foreman. At 138 pounds, wrestling for Yelm, Junior Tanner Page. Wrestling for South Kitsap, Senior Joel Sherman. At 145 pounds, and our starting weight tonight, wrestling for Yelm, Junior Riley Hallman. Wrestling for South Kitsap, Senior Adam Lutovsky. At 152 pounds, wrestling for Yelm, Senior Brandon Rochester. At 152 for South Kitsap, Senior Joseph Barnum. At 160 pounds for Yelm, Junior James Rodman. And for South Kitsap, Senior Ridge Gilbertson. At 170 pounds, from Yelm, sophomore Bo Campbell. For South Kitsap, Senior Jake Stanley. Wrestling at 182 pounds, from Yelm, Junior Jace Allred. For South Kitsap, Senior Donald Furman. At 195 pounds, from Yelm, freshman Tyler Loesch. At 195 pounds, from South Kitsap, Senior Tristan Hartman. At 220 pounds, from Yelm, sophomore Holden Miller. At 220 from South Kitsap, senior Kyle Kennedy. And finally, at 285 pounds from Yelm, junior Jordan Bird. For South Kitsap, senior Liam O'Brien. Our officials this evening will be David Jones and Tom Hahn. If everyone please could rise, remove your caps, and join us for the national anthem, played by South Kitsap Band. Let's get ready to wrestle. Let's have the captains to the center.
Well, you heard the man. There is an excitement in the air as we get started at 145 pounds tonight. Some of the features of this matchup that have been so exciting, both sides of the SK gym are open. The SK band is with us to get us pumped up. And Yelm has brought a sizable crowd to cheer on this Narrows League Championship matchup tonight. Elijah, let's get started. Let's talk about this streak. It's the biggest probably story tonight. Last season, Yelm snapped a 180-plus winning streak, dual streak for SK. What has been the motivating factor for the team so far this year? I mean, you guys have been waiting a long time to get a crack.
Well, this whole matchup isn't the #1 priority on here. It is a big challenge for the league championships, of course, and it's always kind of in the back of our head from last year. All the returners, we have plenty of returners, and but you know, there's other things to look forward to. But this is the biggest duel of the season.
Well, it's not like these guys are strangers here. Yelm and SK have been going back and forth at different tournaments. The Pac Coast this year's Central Kitsap Matman tournament, and just recently the SK Invite about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago. We're going to get started here at 145 pounds. The other big story tonight is it's senior night. We've got a full roster of matches, 14 matches. 9 of those are seniors. We're going to see how these guys do with families and friends and their last chance under the lights at South Kitsap. So let's get started here at 145 pounds. SK's Adam Lutovsky is going to take on Riley Hallman of Yelm.
These two met at the SK Invitational, actually. A really, really close match. Adam Lutovsky being down by 7 at one point and coming back and winning it by 4.
So it looks like Hallman's going to get head control first, but Lutovsky looking for that
fireman's
carry there, the high crotch. Tell us a little bit about Adam Lutovsky.
Well, you know, he's last year being ranked in state as a junior, he was an alternate due to an injury. But this season he's been pretty healthy, and it's good to see him back here, ranked 7th in state right now.
Moving out of a little bit of trouble out of that first reversal there. freeing up that arm and able to move away. But we're going to see what sort of tools right off the gate that Yelm is going to be throwing at us. I've seen just from this season, SK Wrestling doing a great job of exploding off the whistle like you'd expect them to, and then also having real success with their sit-outs, switches, reversals, stand-ups. Not so sure what we're going to see from Yelm tonight. So with such two really great coach teams, pins are going to be valuable tonight as on those team scores.
And nearly impossible in
well,
most of these matches.
We'll see. We're going to have a even across the board. So expect some long, drawn-out matches. As we get to the end of the season here, these guys' gas tanks better be ready to go. Latoski working here.
Reversal with 2 near fall.
So we'll see how Hallman responds to the whistle here. Looking for that Granby roll, and he's going to find some success with it. It looks like we're getting the signal for near fall, perhaps. Nope.
No near fall.
Latoski already tripoded up and back to his feet.
Needs to get his hips away. That's one escape. This is going to be a high-scoring match. Plenty of reversals. These
Looks
two
like
are
another
very, very good
takedown with only a few seconds to go here in this first period.
As the end of the first period with 2 near fall.
Well, they're bringing them to their feet. The first period of wrestling is in the books. Adam Latoski already with 11 points here.
Adam choosing neutral position. Not a very common choice, but he's looking very explosive on his feet today. There's that elbow pass. Trying to fit in a leg ride reversal. And almost successful.
It looks like if Latoski can control that near side elbow, he's going to have the leverage here that continue to score near fall points. However, it looks like Holman is working that leg ride here to try to get a roll through. He'll go out the back door.
And this is a very similar position to what they were in this weekend.
Latoski will cut him loose. I'd imagine he's looking for a tech fall here, perhaps.
He is up by 13 points now, getting near fall.
He's got about a minute to go in this first period. You know, these middle weights, they're some of my favorites to watch. You get all kinds of different body types. Latoski here has the speed, the strength, and what looks like technique here as far as being able to roll out of some tricky spots. We'll see if he can sink down onto that shoulder. We're going to indicate more near fall points here.
Is that a whistle I heard?
Yeah, an errant whistle. It looks like they'll resume wrestling right in the middle of the match.
With
We'll
a
see what
Yelm on their
Holman
back.
can do here. We may have a caution here from our ref.
3 near fall. Putting the match to 13-5. Latoski in the lead.
So, Elijah, take us into the mat room over the past week. What sort of encouragement or what's the mindset that we're getting from Coach Nass on the SK side as you prepare for these matches?
Well, we've been really concentrating hard, we pushed aside everything, made sure we got all our studying done because this week is finals. To make sure we
it is a busy week for
hard.
students as second semester comes about.
Adam Latoski with the tech fall, 15 points.
You know, the one thing that in observing just from afar, Coach Nass, a man that lives and breathes wrestling, and a philosophy I've heard from him over and over again is that if you take care of the small things, the big picture will kind of fill itself in. So we'll see what small things, adjustments our SK wrestlers have made since the last time we brought you the broadcast. We've moved on now to 152 pounds. Brendan Rochester of Yelm someone to watch at the state tournament later this year, already with a 2-point takedown and work in the back here of Joseph Barnum. These two Rochester brothers from Yelm.
Very, very talented wrestlers.
Yeah.
Ones to look out for. Joseph Barnum coming off of an injury. Out of bounds.
Barnum able to start turning that corner and get a little hip advantage, but like you said, moving out of bounds. We'll see what he can do from the bottom position here.
Joseph, a very aggressive wrestler. Good.
He's going to sit out, but it looks like Rochester will keep that armbar position. Perhaps look to stack.
That is near fall. Joseph is in a very dangerous situation here.
Barnum able to roll through. Rochester doing a nice job of controlling that upper body with underhooks. Ooh. And again, he looks for the
double
stack.
Armbar. Doesn't look like he's going to get. Oh, there's no near fall. There it is. Barnum in a very, very painful and dangerous situation.
Well, Barnum has 24 seconds here in this first period to either hang on, but I don't know if we're going to see him be able to move out of this position. It looks like he'll be able to snatch up a single leg.
Hopefully into his strong suit, a double. Got a good quarter Nelson there, preventing the out of bounds.
So Brandon Rochester at 152 pounds, the older brother here. Brian Rochester we'll see later tonight at 132 pounds as he takes on Tommy Foreman. So we've got a bit of wrestling to go before we see the other half of the Rochester brothers. But
that's the end of the first period.
There are a couple other key matchups that we're looking forward to tonight. Elijah, are there in particular that you're looking forward to?
Very excited to see Tristan Hartman wrestle here.
Tristan Hartman, a senior SK Wolf, looking ahead to the state tournament, which is coming up in just a few weeks here.
And freshman Ashton Schechler of 106.
Freshman, the newest addition to the SK Athletics program this year. I'm sure that's a welcome addition for Coach Nass as you try to fill in those lower weight classes, and especially
down there.
A wrestler in Schlesler who is, has some experience coming in as a freshman.
Very, very experienced, talented wrestler coming in as a freshman. Very vital to this team.
Back to the mat here with Barnum and Rochester. Rochester just keeping that control, it looks like, until we move out of bounds. So we're
very, very close there.
We're seeing no give up in the fight from Barnum here. Rochester in control, though, with this top position.
Joseph's very, very cardio wrestler. 2-point reversal.
He's able to beat the head and arm if he can get leg control here. Rochester tries to Granby through.
Joseph trying to put himself into a leg right position. Very dangerous here with his head on the mat.
It looks like he'll scissor this body here as he tries to climb up, perhaps get a hook to hook that leg.
That other leg is very vital to that leg ride. There it is. Joseph riding tough. Very, very dangerous there. Match 10-2.
.45 seconds remaining in the second period here, and it looked like Rochester will go for the twister.
Ooh.
A painful position, hard to escape. Rochester with that leg control makes it difficult for Barnum to turn back into that right side.
It's very hard to pin from this position, but really easy to get near fall.
With Barnum's right arm on trap underneath there.
Half.
Able to turn back in, but
11 seconds left.
working this half Nelson here. We'll see if he can bow and arrow him. I'm sure the refs are taking a close look at that elbow there.
Looking very painful on that shoulder.
Looks like Barnum is going to get a restart here with only 3 seconds left in this period. We see an indication from Coach Nass and Hoyt on the SK sideline to keep those elbows tucked in tight. I'm sure they're picking up on this wrist control, and underhooks that Rochester keeps going for.
All right, we'll move to the third round.
An 11-point lead from Rochester.
Yelm with a pretty big lead, 13-2.
Joseph chooses bottom. We've seen him on bottom almost the entirety of the match. Still no fight. I mean, no loss in the fight.
No quit.
No.
Yeah. Well, it seems like if he fights off 1 or 2 escapes, he gets to the third, but unfortunately moving out of bounds or running out of time.
Coming very close to those reversals or escapes. On a single leg. Stalemate call.
Stalemate, back to the center.
The SK gym here continues to fill up as these matches progress. We had a busy night of JV matches. Yelm taking those matches 40-21 with the total team score. We also had our senior night awards before that. So it's been a busy night here at SK, and we're only 2 matches in already. Barnum looking for maybe a stalemate situation, but able to get that inside cradle perhaps. Let's see if he can roll through. Rochester hitting that Granby. And again, it looks like Rochester is going to be able to trap that shoulder underneath. We're looking at near fall points here with 42 seconds to go in this period.
For his shoulder.
He may start looking for an Auburn here.
Auburns are very he needs to belly down if he's looking for that 3/4 Nelson. 10 seconds left in the match. Joe being down by 11 points. And that will end the match with a major decision to Yelm. That'd be 14 points, making it a total of 5-4.
So Yelm gets on the board here. We're going to move on to the 160-pound category. Senior Ridge Gilbertson from South Kitsap takes on James Rodman of Yelm.
Next up at 160 pounds will be James Rodman from Yelm Jr.
Doesn't look like Ridge.
South Kitsap, Ridge Gilbertson, senior.
That looks like
Check that, Jackson Moffitt.
Jackson Moffitt, a junior.
Wrestling for South Kitsap.
Last minute change. Jackson taking a third at the SK Invitational this weekend.
So as expected, we see a little roster trickery here as both teams try to prepare and get the right matchups where they think they can win at the weight class. We'll see what Jackson can do here against Rodman.
You know, Jackson being a JV, he goes to almost all the varsity tournaments and places at majority of them. He's a very high-skilled JV.
Well, I wonder what the situation is with Ridge. Perhaps an injury or
well,
could
he'd
be
been out
just
for
a
an injury for the
stylistic.
last week, so I think that might be it.
Or perhaps the other theory could be just a stylistic kind of matchup. But if injuries do occur, especially as we get to the end of the season here, guys are looking to remain healthy with sub-regionals and regionals only a week, 2 weeks away. When the toughest wrestling needs to be done, you kind of want to rest those people who need it and then make those individual adjustments with wrestlers as needed. Both of our wrestlers here looking for head control.
Jackson, a very, very intense wrestler. Never have a boring match.
Would you say in the stand-up or a mat wrestler?
Definitely excels on his feet. Very rough on his feet too, as you can see. Looking for that underhook. With the crowd cheering his name. About 30 seconds left in the matchup. No scoring. Jackson actually had a very deep single leg earlier in the match, but unfortunately went out of bounds.
Well, we've also seen Rodman try to get in with just a kind of a smash double here. It'll be Jackson who goes to the mat first, trying to dive for that leg.
Jackson needing to get his head up if he wants to get a good position here. Trying to step over,
Rodman working
putting
that
him
head
in
and
a
arm.
dangerous position.
And our first period will expire scoreless. Rodman will defer. I think we're going to see
Jackson
Moffitt
choosing
try to come off the bottom here for his free 1 point. Well, I shouldn't say free. We'll see if he can get it right off the whistle here.
Bottom is a very, very common choice because you can get a 2-point reversal or a 1-point escape, and then a 2-point takedown, hopefully.
What a hard crossface from Rodman. He's going to start attacking that left side here, it looks like.
Rodman looking for a leg ride. Got the double leg ride in, now looking for a power half.
Now that double leg ride is effective for keeping that bottom wrestler flattened out, as you can see here. However, it gets a little tricky as you try to navigate the near fall situation here. With the right roll, the bottom wrestler can just reverse this position.
I don't know if you can see at home, but Jackson's arm is pulled all the way out. Almost being planted on the other side. And there's near fall. Rodman moving into a half situation.
Strong bridge from Moffitt.
Strong bridge from Moffitt.
He's going to keep turning that angle here and make it difficult for our referee to get a look at it, but that's going to be it for those 2 points.
6 points for Yelm's team. Putting the score 10-5. Yelm.
Next up at 170 pounds, wrestling for Yelm, Bo Campbell. For South Kitsap, senior, Jake Stanley.
Now, I have not seen this matchup yet. Two very looking different body types. Short and stocky in Yelm and long and lengthy.
Well, yeah, I was just about to comment on that, Elijah. You know, as you start getting into these heavier weight classes, you do see a couple different body types, and that's going to determine how they wrestle. I had the pleasure of calling the Central Kitsap match with Jake last time as he was injured. You know, he tells me he tries to use that reach to his advantage and leverage, but, you know, he is at some sort of disadvantage trying to get inside, getting inside and trying to control his takedowns.
He's use that length very, very, he has very strong grip and very good length. That's a takedown.
Campbell's in with the takedown, and just kind of like we were talking there, you know, a taller guy has a bigger strike zone, so easier perhaps for Campbell to get in. He had nice penetration there, but Stanley's back up to his feet.
And that is a 1-point escape.
There's a scrappy guy. He hits it right off the bat. We'll see if he can turn that corner.
That is a 2-point takedown. Very, very quick change in position. Stanley trying to break him down.
You know, one thing I've noticed a difference between other home matches and this intense rivalry that we have tonight, you know, the SK sideline and both Yelm to some degree, not a lot of people sitting down. We've got wrestlers who are still 6-7 matches away that are getting warmed up and ready for their chance to get on the mat. Stanley, looks like Campbell with a nice Granby roll through here. Looking for the indication of near fall points.
Half Nelson. Jake needs to fight hard here with less than 20 seconds left. There's a strong bridge, get his feet underneath him.
Campbell trying to pin that shoulder
seconds.
down. Stanley's going to have to ride this one out through the first period here.
And that is 1 second. It is the end of the period. I believe that would be putting it 3-7 Yelm. Stanley with the decision, deferring. Yelm choosing bottom.
So small scare there at the end of the first period for Stanley.
Seeing a lot of Granby rolls from Yelm. The drop single from Stanley, trying to keep him down.
Campbell moves into that mounted position.
Stanley needs to bridge hard. It's a 2-point reversal and 3-point near fall. Putting the match 3-12. Stanley. Yelm looking for the quarter Nelson stack, 3/4 Nelson stack. Stanley quickly moving out of it. On the edge of the mat there. Stanley could try to get back on his feet or get out of bounds to get a restart. Yelm with another near fall position. It's another fall from Yelm.
So Stanley continues to fight through, but it's not going to be enough against Campbell.
Next up, Donald Furman. And
Next up at 182
So we are cruising through our kind of middle weights, upper middle weights here. As you said, Donald Furman.
this is a matchup we've seen a couple times before. First time they wrestled was a good rough match with Donald completely dominating him and getting the fall, but last time they met up in semifinals at the SK Invitational, he was able to catch him in a head and arm very quickly in the match, putting him away.
Donald taking on Jace Aldred of Yelm. And Aldred, what looks to be like some sort of extra tape on that left shoulder of his. We'll see if perhaps Donald is able to exploit that, or if it will some sort of injury or.
Donald always looking for a high crotch of fireman's.
You know,
Able to prevent the head and arm, which put him away last time.
You know, I was just about to say, having Donald as a student, he's a pretty happy-go-lucky guy most of the time, until you see him step on the wrestling mat, and then he's pretty much all business. One of the nicest students you probably ever meet, but really passionate about when it comes to what he's doing. And, you know, a gutsy guy, win or lose. I'd say he's, not a super dominant wrestler, but he goes out there and gives it his best performance each time. I can think of particularly one match as a sophomore, just getting manhandled by a senior from Olympia. This would be a few years ago, but hung in there and really, has kind of found his place on the varsity team as found his place. Yeah,
being a varsity for 3 years in a row, for 2 years. This being his third year.
So Furman in control here. He takes the first points of the match.
This whole week for the majority of us is preventing a head and arm, because this team is a very strong team, but they look for pins.
Physically strong. Physically strong, I think, is the key. Not that South Kitsap is not a physically strong team. I would say more technical, having a wide array of tools, perhaps.
Second round. Alren choosing the neutral position. I would assume he's trying to get another head and arm in there.
So Coach Strain advising his wrestler to move to that neutral position, probably
Donald
looking
on
for
the
2
low
points.
single, looking like in good position here. And that's another 2.
Furman working that wrist control.
He's got an arm bar and wrist control. Let's see if he can use this. Gotta put his hips down.
I see Coach Nass on the sideline here indicating that Donald needs to step over, but I think what we're going to get is a potentially dangerous here.
Starting. Furman on top. Trying to get a sit out to a switch. Unsuccessful for Yelm. Furman looking for wrist control here, trying to break him down. He's looking for a wrist half. Best defense for that was sitting out. And very smart of Yelm there.
You know, as we get up into these higher weight classes, the more time you spend on the bottom,
The harder it gets.
the more the gas tank gets depleted, I should say. We'll see if Donald is able to continue this control here, kind of measured effort.
Keeps looking for that wrist half.
Got 30 seconds to go.
We'll see if Allred here can pull out something fancy in the last 20 seconds.
Out of
Gonna take
bounds.
some sort of explosion.
Yet to see Furman on bottom, which is a good sign of dominance for this match. Looking for a Granby. Donald catching the leg.
Furman continues to ride tough. Stall warning on bottom wrestler on Yelm.
It's a stall warning. Furman looking for hopefully an Auburn.
Furman leading 4-0 over Allred.
Third round with Furman's choice, choosing bottom.
South Kitsap chooses down.
Furman with an explosive sit out.
And a nice effort right off the whistle. I think is going to earn him a 2-point reversal here.
He's got to break his hips down and break that grip he has.
Reversal. Allred hanging on to the leg.
That is a 2.
You know, if I had to make a guess about our Yelm wrestler, Jace Allred here, I'd say, as indicated by that tape, some sort of injury is, working perhaps in Donald's favor to help speed up that gas tank getting depleted. Moving into the third period, though, it's all a test of heart. And just as I
1
say that,
point.
he's up to his feet.
6-1. Minute 12.
We'll see what Allred can do
Furman
here
leading by
to set up
5.
his takedown. Furman's going to be the first one to go for a leg here. Allred looking for that head and arm position. See if he can shuck Donald by here, but it looks like both of these wrestlers are going to move out of bounds. We'll see who navigates that.
There it is. Very, very close to that 2-point takedown.
So Allred here, coach is indicating he's going to need 5 and to continue pummeling into that inside position. Furman perhaps a little over-aggressive on that shot there, not able to make it to the ankle. Both sides of our gym here, both the Yelm fans and SK fans, going nuts.
That is a 2-point takedown. A failed attempt at a head and arm. Donald now leading by 7 points. 1 point shy of a
getting indication from the SK sideline to keep Ulrich in bounds here. Unable to do so, but we'll see if he can control these last 10 seconds here.
1 point shy of a major decision. Furman awarding him 1 point for escape, putting it back on the neutral position. Hopefully to get a takedown within these last 2 seconds of the match here.
And I take back what I said about Ulrich's shoulder being a hindrance. He sure came alive in that third period there. To try to wrestle back, Furman's going to be in control here. That makes our team score 8-16.
All right, next up at 195 pounds.
This is the match to look out for.
From Yelm, Tyler Loesch
Tristan Hartman
versus senior from South Kitsap, Tristan Hartman.
The SK Invitational champion, Tristan Hartman.
Hartman, the younger brother of Connor Hartman, a successful SK wrestler who won the state championship, I believe, at 182 pounds?
I think it was 195.
195 pounds as well. Doing really well at Duke University. But Tristan, interesting story, set back for some time from the state tournament due to kind of a catastrophic football knee injury. From what I've heard from Coach Nass, pretty much everything bad that can happen to the lower leg, he did, blown out ACLs, MCLs, but doing the work to get back to the top of the heap. We're going to see how he does with sophomore Tyler Loesch.
Very aggressive on the head, Hartman.
And you know, for 195 pounds, Hartman is huge. He looks like a heavyweight out there.
It's funny you'd say that because he's one of the lighter ones. He never has to cut weight, always weighing in about 2-3 pounds under. In fact, one of the harder practices we had, he weighed out at almost 182 pounds. But he's just a very, very athletic, very stocky and built wrestler.
Well, I think what you'll see
Looking
here,
for a tilt.
I think what you'll see here in comparison to our two other heavyweights who are yet to wrestle for SK tonight, Hartman, a tall kid and physically strong. He in control here of Tyler Loesch. You know, I think if I'm Coach Nass on the sideline for SK, I'm hoping that my heavyweights will be able to close this gap here as we get into the lighter weights.
We have a lot to expect from our 220, Kyle Kennedy. Another state-ranked wrestler from SK. Looking for an Auburn. And there's the power half.
With a short almost 10
That is
seconds
a
to go.
pin. With 12 seconds exactly to go.
Hartman's not going to need it. He'll put the stamp on that match. And a nice effort from Loesch there against a senior in Hartman with a lot of experience and a lot of wrestling background there. That drags our team score up to 14 for the Wolves, 16 for Yelm. So a nice performance from senior leader Hartman to try to close that gap.
Senior Kyle Kennedy.
Kyle Kennedy here looks like he's sporting a new buzz do from the last time we've seen him. Usually that's an indication of getting serious or just hairy. We'll see what Holden Miller from Yelm, his plan of attack looks like here. It's going to be Kennedy in first.
Wick on the legs, Kennedy, no takedown. That's unfortunate. A nice roll out of that though.
Yeah, Miller able to hit that hip escape there right from the bottom. Both of
Kennedy
these
trying to stay
heavyweights.
out of a tie.
Well, yeah, I was just about to say both of these heavyweights looking pretty upright. As you start to get to these higher weights, a lot of these takedowns are determined in the upper body throws, more of a sumo kind of a stance, if you will. Because if you take a dive on a leg and 220 pounds comes down on top of you,
It's not going to be
you
easy to
tend
get
stay
back
there.
up.
Kennedy with the aggression here. If you had to describe Kennedy's plan of attack, what would you think it would be?
He likes to shoot. He likes to shoot, which is isn't very typical for his weight class. And he's not much of a thrower. He's really good from outside of a tie, which is again not typical of his weight class. He's very different from most 220s. Avoiding the ties there. Kennedy looking for an open shot. Both wrestlers seem to slow down pretty quick.
You know, I think Kyle Kennedy we've seen just grow and mature over the years as he's become a varsity contributor here. And I think that rivalry with him and Tristan Hartman has propelled him to just become a better wrestler, you know, being, I wouldn't say in somebody's shadow, but high expectations for Tristan and having to go with that guy every day.
Follow that.
Iron sharpens iron. So it looks like we will remain scoreless in our first period here.
Yas indicating he's going to attack.
Not much of an indication from the Yelm sideline here. So it looks like Kennedy will take the down position.
This is where I'd say Kyle's strong suit was. There it is, a 2-point reversal.
As he takes the lead, 2-0.
Kennedy showing some quick feet to move to the back here.
Trying to break down and gain wrist control here.
Miller's going to tripod up. We'll see if Kennedy will return him to the mat. Looks like he'll cut him loose. So Miller down by 1 point.
Escape, 2-1. Escape for Miller.
Kennedy looking for a shot. Good sprawl on both wrestlers.
Miller's in with the re-shot.
Kyle looking for.
You know,
underhook there,
if
trying
Kyle
to get a
can
cow
control
catcher.
that wrist, he may be able to move to the back position. It looks like he'll go to kind of a over-under cow catcher here and perhaps try to attack that leg as Miller stands up.
Pushing him away.
So an equal effort here from both wrestlers so far.
Both appearing frustrated with their performance. Pretty even matchup here.
You got 30 seconds here in the second round. 2-1 Kennedy.
And you know,
Looking right at his coach, not knowing what to do with Kennedy.
you know, Elijah, I think what's funny is we had expectations when we started this broadcast of having, you know, really low-scoring back and decision matches, and what we've seen is a little bit of everything across the board, with the exception of this match being a nice kind of even competition here.
2-1 as we move to the third round. Yelm's choice.
Coach Nass on the sideline here with maybe a bewildered look on his face, kind of asking Kennedy what's his plan of attack here. If he's going to put something into motion, this is the period to do it. Miller looks like he's going to be able to get a stand up here if he
Trying
can
to
break
return
these
him.
hands.
Good return.
And again, the Yelm wrestlers showing signs of that Granby.
Kennedy looking for a half Nelson. Kennedy needing to come behind, maintain the lead.
We'll see if Kennedy is able to establish some sort of, it doesn't look like he's going to pick up on the leg ride here. Going for the lifts.
Not much of a leg rider. But if Kyle can maintain him, hold him down for the rest of the 1 minute period, he'll seal 3 points for the team.
Holden Miller here getting some encouragement from the Yelm fan base that has traveled all this way.
Oh, bad position for Kyle.
And right on time, he delivers, looking like near fall points may be indicated here. With a minute to go.
Very tired. Kyle now down by
those three near fall points.
Needing to get an escape and a takedown just to get to overtime.
40 seconds to put something in action here. Miller doing a nice job of keeping Kennedy's hips flat on the mat, unable to establish a base. The Yelm sideline coming alive as our clock ticks down.
Kennedy just needing 3 points. Very hard. Only 5 seconds left in this match. Looking for a cradle here just to hold him down for that last second. And then it's Yelm with the victory. Puts the team at 19-14. Yelm.
I don't know about you, but that was
a very intense
two
match.
Periods of pretty even matching, and then a nice effort there by Holden Miller to just come alive at the right time.
Liam O'Brien coming in at heavyweight. One of the smaller heavyweights.
He'll be taking on Jordan Bird of Yelm. Bird here looking like he may have, I'd say like maybe a 15-pound, perhaps 15, 20-pound advantage here. So both wrestlers looking for that inside control. You know, perhaps, like we mentioned before, Jake Stanley was such a tall guy. Liam O'Brien being a smaller heavyweight, he has a smaller strike zone here. So I think, I doubt we're going to see Jordan Bird trying to exploit the legs, but some sort of upper body throw.
Very rare for a heavyweight to take a shot. We had a heavyweight last year, Damian Medeiros. Like to shoot very big heavyweight. Very different, seeing almost the opposite of
the contrast in styles here. Well, Jordan Bird of Yelm trying to show signs of a snap down here. Being the aggressor on the head control, but O'Brien with him step for step. You know, it's been exciting to watch these two well-coached teams tonight perform. Just before we got started here, they had a recognition for Yelm's coach, Gaylord Strain, 40 years as the head coach at Yelm High School as the wrestling instructor. That's amazing in its own right. And Yelm, no slouch when they were in the 3A division. If I have my stats correct, 3 second-place finishes at the state competition, 1 first-place competition in the span of about 5 years, and then jumped up last year to the 4A competition. We'll get back down to the mat here as Jordan Byrne is going to collect near-fall points here.
A reversal in near fall.
Well, you can just see how well these two teams have been coached.
Technical violation.
And to be fair, Coach Nass, a state champion wrestler for South Kitsap as a student, longtime assistant coach, and has been running the program here for 8+ years or so as the head coach, surrounded by a lot of good help in Steve and
Les
Hoyt, Josiah Kipperberg, another state champion, and then three-sport coach Dustin Booth at South Kitsap. So lots of wrestling tradition
Quick
here.
reversal.
A quick scramble from our heavyweight O'Brien here.
Tried to stay out of that Peterson that caught him last time. O'Brien didn't get a fall to put us back in the lead. Or looking very likely here.
Ask and you shall receive. We'll see if Bird is able to turn the corner to go all the way. It looks like he'll be able to get this roll through. O'Brien trying to readjust, come back at it again with a hard crossface. Bird does not have a lot of time, has too much time on the clock to just stay in this position here. Fighting those roll throughs.
8-4, O'Brien.
You know, an indication from the Yelm sideline that Bird has got to widen out his base and establish here. Looking for that overhook elbow control, but O'Brien doing a nice job of staying centered on that kind of spine and heavy on the hips here.
Looking for an arm bar. Just such a big weight difference. Couldn't seem to hold him down.
We'll see if
he can adjust right, that would be a 2-point reversal.
That's gonna tie it up, I believe, here. I guess not. O'Brien still with a 2-point lead here. A well-timed roll.
1.2 reversal
from Bird, but O'Brien is going to be able to get off the bottom, and that's going to bring the SK sideline to life here.
Seeming like a more conditioned athletes. Not able to react quick enough.
Well, we're going to see, you know, the timing from Jordan Bird on that last roll through to set up that reversal, well done. You know what I mean?
Same
Inches
with the first one.
From collecting near fall points here, he moves through. We had a small conference with our referee between our two coaches. So afterwards, with a bit of clarification, that's going to make our match score 10 points O'Brien and 6 for Bird.
Bird choosing top.
A quick scramble at the end of the first period is what we saw from O'Brien. We'll see if he's able to repeat that effort here. Excuse me, the second period. Can he do it again and stay in bounds? Yes, he can.
One point escape, putting 11-6. 5-point lead, O'Brien. There's that slide by he keeps looking for. 2-point takedown. Now a 7-point lead.
And now, Elijah, I would agree with you that fatigue factor is starting to set in for Bird, perhaps. You know, with that arm pass there, you called a slide by. And you know what? As soon as the words are right out of my mouth, Bird is back in this match again.
Very, very hard to have all 285 pounds on you and try to build a base.
Weight is a weapon, and I'm sure Jordan Bird knows how to use it. He's going to need to start establishing these near fall points in just under a minute if he's going to want to tighten up this match score, however.
Brian trying to build his base, but again, very difficult with all that weight on you. That's what I was expecting. A stall warning for riding the hips. If a wrestler, for those that don't know, if a wrestler is on bottom and fully broken down, the top wrestler must come off his hips, allowing him to at least attempt to come up. Be a caution. Looking like a very inexperienced wrestler. Well timed, but just the small things that he. It's another 1-point escape.
O'Brien, that is 2 for 2 on escapes off the whistle here.
O'Brien can get 2 more points, making it a major decision. O'Brien needing to take him to the ground, staying up. It's like
He's got short time. Doesn't look like the pin is going to happen, but the near fall will occur.
10-point lead. That will be a major decision for Liam O'Brien.
The big boys bring them to their feet.
Now we're about to see a contrast in wrestling styles. Some very, very quick wrestlers.
We're going to shoot around the horn here down to 106 pounds. But before we do, another congratulations to Liam O'Brien there. What a nice match. What a fun match. And, you know, a special congratulations to Jordan Bird, too, going all the way there.
James Page wrestling at 113 the week before. Both wrestlers ranked in state, one at 113 and the other at 106.
6 more matches remaining. Our team score 18-19. It's anybody's guess as to how we'll end up. You know, Ashton Schlesser we saw earlier this year wrestling a female wrestler from Central Kitsap and attacking fully, and I guess that's what we're going to see from him tonight in this top position. But a very game James Page coming out for Yelm tonight as well.
Both very, very good wrestlers.
You know, we mentioned it earlier, but I guess we'll say it again here. The addition of 9th graders to high school athletics, especially for South Kitsap, you know, has got to play out really well for any wrestling program that's looking to fill those lighter weights. Sometimes I know in the past, South Kitsap has just had to give up points, not being able to field 106 pounds.
Ashton needing to get out of this position. It's is that a potentially dangerous? Not quite sure what happened. Ashton gets a restart.
Looks like Coach Nass is going to approach here for a little clarification. You know, with these small weights here, we talked a little bit about the heavyweights having that upper body advantage and then using your weight as a gas tank. What I love about these small weight guys is the speed at which they execute and the different techniques that they throw out there that
rarely
you just can't see with different body types. Yeah, and they go the whole 6 minutes.
Especially with high-level athletes like these two. Got a Navy right in. Looking for a 3/4 stack. Ashton needing to belly out to defend. Cranking hard on that 3/4 stack. Ashton sitting out. Quick to a leg ride. Looking for a
Page getting the full body attack here, added in those legs. They come in with a hard cross face.
coming close to the end of the first period. Looking for a barbed wire, trying to put him on his back. Unsuccessful. Nice arm shot from Yelm. Both wrestlers not giving up. Ashton trying to get control here. I'll be the end of the first period, putting it 2-0 Yelm. These Page brothers are both pretty good too. And we've seen a lot of siblings from Yelm. The Harris brothers, which Dylan just graduated last year.
Brian Rochester and Tanner Page, the two other siblings still to come up later on tonight.
Is the younger of the Pages.
So we'll see if Ashton Schlesler, our freshman here, can get an attack going.
Looking for an arm bar.
So far, Page is the one who's in control here. And doing a nice job of when one fails, going to some
Something
other
else.
technique. Just throwing
Very,
the
very
kitchen
quick.
sink here at Schlesler. We've seen elbow chops,
got a
we've
strong-
seen leg rides.
Close crossface, almost getting near fall from that.
Schlesler here
Page
starting
is
to build a
very-
base. I'm sorry, you were saying?
Page is a very good leg rider. Schessler looking for it.
He's going to try to muscle through on this single leg.
And there
He's
it
gonna
is.
get the inside
Two-point
trip.
reversal. Very, very talented wrestler. Now
Donald
we get
Furman
to
of SK coming alive on the sideline here, shouting encouragement.
now we get to see what Ashton has in store on top.
That's going to tie it up.
Close match. Very high-level athletes.
Page looking for an opportunity off the whistle here. But a nice sit out if he can complete it.
Close. Looking for an escape. There it is. 1 point. Schessler having double overhooks. Crossface now.
Page gonna look to hang on to that right underhook for dear life.
Trying to snap him down and get that takedown again. Schessler's attacking quick.
And this is the aggressive Schlesler we've seen before. I think after that first period, perhaps riding it out, perhaps, or if Page is going to come back into his aggression here.
That was a nice single transition around the back, bringing it 2-5.
So a gutsy effort here from Page. You can see him trying to catch his breath here.
Very
perhaps
tired.
a blood time.
Injury.
Or injury timeout.
Injury time. These wrestlers only get 5 minutes of injury time or blood time. If they cannot continue wrestling or stop the blood within the 5 minutes, they must forfeit. Giving 6 points to South Kitsap.
So we
Starting
have
blood time.
indication from our ref that blood time begins here. So while we have a short break, don't go grab your popcorn just yet. Taking a look at the Wolves wrestling schedule. Like we said before, the last dual meet of the season for both of these teams and determining who becomes the Narrow League champion. I'm sure Yelm would like to make it 2 in a row in their entrance into the 4A division. The schedule for the Wolves on the 7th of February, the varsity team heads to the sub-regional tournament. I know a lot of guys looking forward to making a statement there. Having seen some of the other teams in their competition that are going to send out before, I'm sure this next week afterwards, the Wolves are going to go back to the drawing board and kind of draw up those individual battle plans for each wrestler. Then after that, we've got regionals and hopefully the state tournament for as many wrestlers at SK as possible. The 21st through the 22nd at the Tacoma Dome.
New rule in the regional tournament. Oh, looking for a switch there. New rule in the regional tournament that usually 4 wrestlers make it to the regional tournament. This year, we bring 5th, not just being an alternate, but wrestling a pigtail at state to get in.
Wow. Jeez.
Well, coming from a very, very tough region. This here at in the Narrows League, the 2 toughest teams are easily South and Yelm, but in our region, you have teams like Lake Stevens. We have,
and also Central Kitsap, Central Kitsap as well. So tough wrestling ahead for these guys. Looks like Schlesler here
Down by 5 on bottom.
Started with a nice scramble to maintain control, but Page is going to start looking for this pinning combination.
Both wrestlers had a nice little break there.
Something about seeing your own blood, perhaps, motivates. Chester's opportunity to move off the bottom here.
I'm sure both wrestlers were cutting pretty hard. I know Scheffler was to make weight. But Page wrestling 113 last weekend. It's not an easy cut to make.
Do you have any indication of what Chester walks around about?
Probably 113 to 110. Looking for a reversal there. Hipping over. That's 2. Getting near fall there.
It's looking close.
They can get a pin here.
Coach Nash shooing his SK wrestlers off the line.
And the crowd goes wild. Exploding as soon as his hand touched that mat. That is why our freshman is ranked. That puts South Kitsap in the lead 24 to 19. Still a close match.
What a performance
What
from
a
both
match.
guys.
That was a good match on both sides.
You know, that fired up the SK sideline there. Every single one of them off the line, and Coach Hoyt maybe having a word with his wrestlers not to put that in danger. We move on to 113 pounds. Dion Anderson, sophomore.
Dion Anderson is a very, very
takes
quick.
on Thomas Munoz of Yelm. Go ahead, Elijah.
Very, very quick and strong athlete. Really explosive on his feet. In fact, actually my younger cousin. So if it wasn't already hard enough to be biased here.
I'd say you're doing okay. We really appreciate all of the Yelm fans or other high school wrestling fans that may be watching us tonight. Sometimes it is a little difficult not to.
It's a far drive. I know that last year the gym was packed with not only Yelm but South Kitsap fans too, much like this situation.
Well, video production at South Kitsap is glad that we've had some equipment upgrades to start streaming a lot of these SK events for, you know, all fans of the sports, far and wide, families that live away. We hope to bring you more in the future. We hope to see some offense from both of these two wrestlers.
Both of them seeming to look for a sweep. Both failed attempts at them.
Tying up in this 50-50 headlock here. We'll see who's going to take advantage.
No takedown yet, and that is 2.
And it will be Munoz.
Very, very quick. Dion coming off of a concussion. Haven't seen much of him in the last week.
Concussion? Huh? Ooh. You know, usually that an injury like that takes at least a week of just rest time.
Yeah.
Perhaps more. Getting the clearance from SK Athletic.
Good sit out for a 1-point escape from Dion. Quick scoring matches here.
You know, just in watching that last takedown from Munoz, it looked like Anderson perhaps got his feet in a more squared position rather than a staggered stance. We see him not favoring any lead out there, and that may have been what put him on his butt for just a second.
Dion looking for a takedown there. Quick to the reshot. It's out of bounds.
So Munoz getting some penetration. We'll see if he's able to secure another takedown here. They are like snake and a mongoose out there.
Yeah.
Speed.
There's Dion
Speed
on
is
the
the name of
single.
game.
Trying to transition to a double there.
Showtime, and he turned the corner.
That's looking close to potentially danger if he keeps cranking on that. That'll be the end of the first period. Dion's decision. Anderson choosing the bottom position. Hopefully getting another quick escape like the last one.
I think everything these two wrestlers do is quick.
Very quick, explosive wrestlers. Dion very excited to come back on the mat. Good wrist control from Yelm. Dion trying to build his base there, trying to get back on his feet, I mean. Quick to break him back down. Indicating action on Dion, the referee. Looking for an escape. There it is, tying the matchup 2-2. Dion trying to get good mat position there.
So Munoz looking like the aggressor for this match here. Neither of these two guys doing a lot of angling to set up their takedowns, but kind of settling things in this 50-50 position.
To get a deeper position than he already has.
For headlock, and it looks like it's going to be Munoz
out of
fighting
bounds
to get to those hips.
Good fight on Anderson.
Seeing an indication from Coach Hoyt here to snap that head down and perhaps shuck Munoz past.
Very good from the front headlock position.
Dion for a sophomore, a pretty physically cut guy with a bigger upper body than I've seen for a lot of wrestlers at that weight class. It'll be interesting to see how he develops in the next year or two, and how that skill set kind of develops.
It's funny, when I was a sophomore, I wrestled the exact same weight class as Dion for varsity, and our body types are just so different. Me being a long, lengthier wrestler, and Dion being short and stocky. It's very, very
Munoz there scrambling hard to get to the back, but it looks like that out of bounds indication comes before he's able to secure it.
Quick to get on his feet too with Anderson. I'll try to see how well Anderson can ride. Anderson looking for the ankle. Coming to a spiral, getting that wrist.
Munoz not being broken down here.
Dion getting an arm bar. Looking for a drop single. Anderson still in control. Very good escape attempt.
Well, I think Dion here is going to have to do a better job of attacking that base of Munoz. We saw just on this last exchange, Munoz not really being broken down, able to control his sit out.
It's a good arm chop by Anderson. Looking for a cross wrist control. Good base. Anderson looking for a half. Looking for a power half, wrist half. Sorry.
The Yelm support base coming alive here.
Anderson looking for an armbar. Trying to get some near fall out of this, some quick near fall.
Anderson's going to need these points here.
Ooh, so close.
He's got 14 seconds and counting to get some near fall points, or he's going to be moving into sudden overtime. It'll look like Anderson may get his escape if he can cut loose here.
There it is.
Anderson's
Sudden
going to hide
death
onto this
overtime.
ankle.
2-2.
We have seen it all tonight, and we still have 4 more matches to go. No rest, no cornering. They're just going to go right at it. Anderson is first off the whistle to change levels and get down.
This whole match too.
We'll see who sets it up here. Will it be decided by 2 or decided by 1?
Anderson was in good position. Very, very smart wrestling. Keeping his feet in bounds, which allows him to get a takedown. If one knee were to have dropped, it would have started them again. Anderson. Actually, about Anderson on his feet, was a winner of the takedown tournament hosted this over the summer at Owens Wrestling Camp. Darren Harris ranked first in state, a returning state champion from Yelm. Now this isn't Angela's first match against a state-ranked wrestler.
So Darren Harris from Yelm, I'm sure here coming out fired up, ready to, looking for a pin to bring this back close. We had two clutch pins from Liam O'Brien and Andrew Schlesser to put SK in the lead. And I think those matches that we were anticipating, both sides being just decisions.
Harris pinning everyone he's wrestled this year, including Trujillo out there.
Elijah, off the top of your head, do you know which junior high Trujillo came from here?
Marcus Whitman.
So a former trailblazer here going against a really experienced Harris.
Harris is going to get
Our
3 near
referees are
fall.
going to watch that elbow closely.
Trying to put him back on his back. Angelo just trying to get his arm free. A minute left.
Harris, a physically strong wrestler here. You can see not much in the way of hip control, and yet Trujillo is still fighting that arm.
Angelo with a good bridge there. Very
the
solid
referee taking
bridge.
a close look here. Trujillo able to roll through. And we've seen Yelm perform Granby's all night with success. We've seen them do a nice job of that stacking pin combination. And then another thing that I think we've seen here is this over-under head control that I've seen there. What would you call that, Elijah? I would call it almost something like a Darce choke from another route of grappling.
It's looking like a front headlock.
Looks like a front headlock, but from that side control kind
Yeah,
of position, quarter position.
With that control, they're looking for a 3/4 Nelson stack. Angelo
call.
being very smart by hipping down. Really the only defense for that position.
So a mental test here for Trujillo as he now moves into the top control position. Is he going to be able to ride a more experienced wrestler?
Very quick to put Trujillo on his back.
Harris in that Saturday night ride position.
Deep half.
Full mount, he'll look to control that.
That is a fall. Harrison's very, very good sport.
You know, I see Coach Nass on the sideline here with a small grin on his face. I think that comes after watching that throw, and I don't know what you say to that. I think if I were Coach Nass, I'd be saying to Trujillo, I don't know what you do to that either, except come back stronger. So again, our team score getting closer here. SK only rides a 2-point lead, 27-25. However, the match I've been really looking forward to all night is seeing this Brandon Forrester kid.
Very good wrestler.
From Cedar Heights, a success wrestler there in the junior high level and has a big future, big bright future for the SK wrestling program. He's taking on Dakota Benson of Yelm. You know, and Forrest seen at in off-season wrestling, you know, doing a ton of camps, working with all kinds of different individuals, not just, you know, waiting for the season to come around and get his instruction, but a year-round wrestler.
He's a national qualifier wrestling for Team Washington, actually. Very fortunate to have this sophomore on the team.
Dakota Benson of Yelm, the taller wrestler here.
Quick to hip over. Forrester taking second at the SK Invitational this last weekend. And actually putting a major decision on the Yelm wrestler, Munoz, Victor. But for some reason he isn't wrestling 26 tonight. Maybe
So like we mentioned earlier, perhaps some roster trickery or just you know, different injuries at the SK invite. Whatever the situation here, Forrester looking for the submarine.
Just got to get his over those hips and get his head out.
You may see a potentially dangerous here from our Yelm wrestler. If he were to cross those legs, he's going to be real careful not to scissor that head.
Stalemate call. Very, very good position from bottom. Unfortunately, has to restart on bottom. Looking for a switch. Tripoding out. Control of that leg, but
Forrester on that switch, unable to get his hands down to the hip area and really put pressure on that shoulder. He'll look for it again.
.10 seconds left. Forrester just trying to get out.
He'll take to the back, secure an ankle.
Oh, so close. Getting a 1 point for loss of control.
He'll get,
as you could tell.
He'll get half a reversal is what we call an escape.
Getting a loss of control, not able to secure the takedown, but the ref knew that he had no control there. See him on bottom again. Hopefully get to see that 2 point reversal instead of a 1 point loss of control.
Benson seemed kind of preoccupied with keeping control of those hips.
He's wrestling a very, very tough opponent, but I haven't seen much of Benson this year, but seeming to be able to manage Brandon very well.
Forrester keeping him busy, able to roll through here, and Benson will move to this cow catcher position. A nice sit through.
Two reversal. And that hip over again. Benson very, very good at telling when the other wrestler's hip is down and taking advantage of that position.
Well, that high man wins.
So, Junior being dominant on his feet and on bottom, but this wrestler is very, very skilled on bottom. Sitting out. Looking for a Peterson. Some 30 seconds left. Reversal. One loss of control. Forrester leading by 2. Very, very good firemen and very good Russians. Looking for that fireman.
And the Russian roll is something we
there
haven't
we
seen
go.
tonight. Forster
Near fall.
keeping that wrist control is what's setting up his near fall points here. And again,
No near fall. No near
with
fall.
Yelm's Benson able to hip over. If I'm Coach Nass, I'm taking a hard look at this match for Forrester. It's something to work on in the next week is keeping those hips higher on their opponent.
This wrestler on bottom is very similar to a wrestler of ours, Litovsky, at 45. Very, very good at telling when an opponent's hips are down and hipping over hard. Ooh.
Looking for the stack.
Double
We've got a
armbar.
close look
That
at
is
it.
a fall.
A back and forth match. Well-timed, well-executed technique by both wrestlers, but it's going to be Forrester in that third period.
Double
there.
armbar.
Yelm's Brian Rochester, a sophomore.
We have 2 more matches tonight that Yelm will definitely try to come back with pins to take this advantage. You know, it's still anybody's game here. We move to 132 pounds. New addition, Tommy Foreman.
A junior from Peninsula High School moving here. Now there's also another national qualifier.
Taking on Brian Rochester, the younger Rochester.
A bit of a rivalry between these two. This is not the first time they've seen each other.
Ooh, Foreman
Quick to his back.
defending a quick takedown, moves into an attack big time.
Last time these two wrestled, I believe Rochester was the victor, but Foreman was the first time they ever wrestled. An explosive wrestlers, these two.
We've seen all kinds of stuff tonight. Coming right out of the gate, these 132-pounders here. Both in attack mode, full attack
Very
mode.
aware of each other's skills, too. An explosive first few seconds, really.
You know, this younger brother, Brian Rochester here,
looking for a spladle.
just first observations is he looks like he could be competing at 152 pounds. A pretty physically tough guy. But having seen Foreman in the past few weeks, he is a scrambler through and through and never stops on the wrestling. As you can see here, working out of a bad spot.
Now 7-2.
Like you mentioned before, Foreman, a transplant from the Peninsula program, getting the SK Power chant. That may be for the first time for him, so he's going to have to still get used to that. Rochester able to get a one-point escape here. He'll be the aggressor looking for this takedown.
The crowd chanting Tommy's name.
Tommy's going to move out of
Out
bounds.
of bounds, no takedown. End of the first period. 4-point lead for Foreman. Rochester deferring to Foreman.
We get a caution call here on Rochester.
Ooh.
We're into the second period here. Foreman unable to come up off the bottom off the whistle. Rochester is going to work that right side arm here, perhaps looking for the stack position. Perhaps a bit of fatigue starting to set in for Foreman. And this is where we may start to see a small contrast in styles, where Foreman is a scrambler who comes at you with one thing after the next. We see Rochester here working hard on that arm.
Very painful position on that arm.
Just a leverage and strength. We've got a chin strap, full mount here for Rochester. Foreman going to move through.
Foreman able to escape a very, very lethal move, the Auburn.
Foreman only getting a 2-point near fall against him there instead of a 3. Almost 30 seconds to go here in this second period, and it's Rochester with a smothering top control, really attacking those wrists. And we're getting in, Coach Nass coming off of his chair here to indicate that chin strap may be potentially dangerous. Can Foreman survive this second period with only less than 8 seconds to go? Only giving up, it looks like 2 points that period. Foreman's still in control, but I'm sure that shoulder elbows even taped up beforehand may give him some trouble. We'll see if he's able to start his top attack here. So it looks like we're going to get the SK Athletic Medicine trainers to come over and take a look at a wrist, perhaps, Tommy Foreman, or that elbow. It looks like they will resume. No, perhaps a dislocation or just some tenderness here as Rochester was cranking real hard looking for those Auburn pinning combinations, arm bars. We'll see what Foreman is able to do from the attack here. He goes to the back control and is looking for leg rides here. Kind of a dangerous pinning combination to go to that butt scoot position. Can be a double-edged sword. He'll continue with back control here. Rochester able to turn the corner. He'll pick up his reversal points, which is going to tie it up. And again, Rochester with control on that left elbow of Foreman, making it painful. We're going to get an injury timeout indication here. Not the result you'd like to see for any wrestler as you approach the end of the dual meet season and get ready for tournament time here. Both coaches trying to get some words of encouragement out to the wrestler. It looks like Coach Strain from Yelm, I'm probably indicating to just continue what you're doing here to Rochester. So we're getting an indication here from our referee that we're going to have a little restart. Tommy Foreman electing to wrestle on the feet. instead of try that back control business again and perhaps give up 1 point, he'll try to take 2 as the aggressor in a neutral position. Rochester looking for that trip. He'll get it. He'll take the lead in this match with 45 seconds to go. And again, continues to look at that far side elbow. He's got the left wrist controlled. Foreman avoiding the stack. Rochester in control with a 3-point lead here after that takedown. We're going to have to see one big gutsy roll from Foreman here. They'll move out of bounds with just under 10 seconds to go. A clarification from Coach Strain and Yelm. The referee, they will resume with 10 seconds here in our third period. It looks like the story of this match is going to be injury to Foreman slows down the pace for him big time. That's going to be another 3 points for the Yelm's team score, which brings our team score to 33-28. Wolves in the lead by 5 points as we head into our last match of the night. And our final match of the evening at 138 pounds is going to be senior Joel Sherman taking on Tanner Page of Yelm. Both of these wrestlers having a lot of pressure on here as their match determines who is going to be the Narrows League champion here. It's going to be Sherman who comes out looking for head control. Page trying to hang on to that left underhook. Both wrestlers fighting for inside control. Sherman gets the ankle trip. They stay wizard. Page looks for that fireman's carry, unable to complete. Joel Sherman looking to control that center line with head control here, put the pressure on Page, cut some sort of angle here. There's what looks like to be another whizzer overhook throw from Yelm. We've seen that a handful of times tonight. Tanner Page doing a nice job of able to keep his hips high. Defends that takedown attempt from Sherman. It looks like Sherman indicating he's looking for that ankle again, for that ankle trip, perhaps. We've seen some overhook throws from Tanner Page here, so we'll see if Joel Sherman for SK is going to be able to set up this takedown, attack the legs. definitely tight on that head control. Perhaps setting up what looks to be a Russian. He's going to run out of time. We remain scoreless in our first period. So as we go into the second period, we're going to need to see Tanner Page is going to hope to score some near fall points here for a majority decision or perhaps a pin. He's going to need some back time to bring that team score up. Sherman doing a nice job of establishing his base. Page is going to be able to keep that leg ride, those double leg rides it looks like now inside. Going to start working heavy on the head to flatten out Sherman, but Sherman refuses to keep those hips on the mat. He'll keep tripoding up. Those double leg rides, such a hard position to beat. Also kind of difficult though for Page to start turning over Sherman here. Coach Nass indicating some signs of encouragement and also approval from the sideline here, liking what he sees from Joel Sherman, trying to work off the bottom here. Perhaps not right off the whistle, but a constant effort. Page going to follow him out of bounds here as he tries to maintain that control. We'll see if Sherman here is able to repeat that stand-up effort and this time get some separation. Off the whistle, he's already on his feet. So Elijah Canetti rejoining me in the booth here with 45 seconds to go in our second period. We remain scoreless.
Very strong slam.
Tanner Page able to take him back down to the mat, but it's Sherman who refuses to be broken down.
Very, very tough wrestlers.
Looking for head control, perhaps if he can tripod up here. It looks like Page is going to be able to continue to that leg ride.
Very strong power half there. Joel in good position here, looking for a switch.
Trying to find some success with that hip over. I think it is a smaller victory to say that they still remain scoreless. After a relentless attack by Tanner Page there. The rules will reverse in our third and final period of wrestling tonight.
2 minutes left in this dual match.
So if Joel Sherman is able to hang on for these 2 minutes, he will secure the Narrows League Championship for the Wolves. This is what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen.
Even if he suffers a loss, as long as it's not a fall or tech fall, which tech fall doesn't seem very likely in this position, South Kitsap will still remain the victors.
Well, we've seen all kinds of matches tonight, different results than what has been anticipated. Some surprise pins, some really hard-fought back and forth matches as well. 1 minute and 20 seconds remain until South Kitsap looking to cruise back into that championship spot again. And I think this is where we're seeing that Coach Nass mantra of taking care of the small things. We see a relentless wrist control here from Sherman, heavy on the hips, those small things that I think have been indicated before, kind of taking care of itself, perhaps getting a little too far away from that head.
Looking for a banana split there.
The referee's going to be taking a close look at Sherman, perhaps in near fall position.
No reversal.
No points awarded.
38 seconds. Sherman's
Page looking very confused here.
and we go back to the center.
Yelm's fans booing the
And I
referee.
think they're looking for some clarification here on if he had a reversal or if there were near fall points to be indicated there. We saw Sherman trying to roll through from that back position. And as we mentioned before, when you take the back and keep that backpack kind of leg ride position, sometimes wrestlers end up pinning themselves. I think that's kind of what Page may have been indicating here. Page is going to have 30 seconds here to stand up off the bottom. Every wrestler's nightmare, stand up or be defeated. Sherman's going to need his back points here. Two-point near falls. The first points scored in this match come in the last 10 seconds.
Whoa! Very, very unsportsmanlike conduct there. That'll cost him a team point. League championship.
A hard-fought match.
Very,
Everything
very.
we expected tonight and a little bit more. Some good surprises in all weight classes, but South Kitsap victorious at the end, 36-28. What we see is probably the sparking of a big-time rivalry in the Narrows League. I think when these two teams continue to see each other in tournaments, and then also next year, we have the makings for some really good wrestling rivalry going back and forth. It's been an honor to call it with you, Elijah, tonight. I wish you much luck in the future in continuing wrestling. I know tonight is senior night, and we wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
As for the rest of the SKHS Wrestling Wolves, they head into the final stretches of the wrestling season, regionals, sub-regionals, and the state tournament coming up, as well as the Timberline tournament for the JV team as well. From South Kitsap High School, we'd like to thank the video production program, Mike Downham, Matthew Swagger, and the rest of the students who brought you this broadcast. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.
Sorry if I was a little loud.